We're going to show you how to do an oil and filter change on a Merc W204. This is a C250, but the process is the same for the C180 C200 C220 CDI models with the M651 engine. That's from around 2010 to 2014. Tools you'll need for the job: a torque wrench, a pick, a 13mm and 8mm socket, a flat screwdriver, a ratchet or impact driver with an extension, and an oil filter removal tool. In this case, the correct one is 76mm 14-sided type. So we've got the car up on the ramp. We're going to remove this front part of the under tray, this section here, the 6 8mm bolts holding it in place. There's 4 at the front. And 2 at the rear. Now we need to move the larger section that's behind that. Once you remove the front one, on this one there's 9 bolts holding this one in place. When all 9 are out, you can lower that down. With the under trays off, you can get to the sump. It's this part here, the black part there, and it's this 13mm bolt on the side. That's the sump plug. So as well, before we drain it, we've undone the oil cap at the top just to let the oil drain a bit easier. You want to drain that into a suitable container. Also the engine, we have warmed it up for a few minutes just as well to help the oil drain a bit easier. So when the oil's finished draining, just going to give that a quick wipe, a quick tidy up, then we're going to fit the sump plug back in. We fit a new crush washer onto that. Now we're going to tighten that up. When that's secure, you can fit the under trays back if you want, or you can just leave it to last. It's up to you. We don't need to do anything down the bottom here now we're finished. So back up at the top, we've put the oil cap back on so nothing goes in there. I'm going to take the engine cover off. On this there's just one fitting at the front there. Put in a flat screwdriver and just turn that fitting 90 degrees and it'll pop up. Then the cover's just on pegs at the back, it'll slide towards you. And the oil filter is located in this housing here. So to undo this, you're going to need one of these tools to get to it. This is a 76mm wide 14-sided cap. Got a slot on. Get your ratchet in and undo that. A little bit might spill out when you take it off, but it should only be a dribble. whole cartridge assembly with everything on will slide out. So now the assembly's out, we're going to change the filter, and with this filter as well you get 3 new seals there. So we'll remove the old filter first. Give that a quick wipe. So the 3 new seals are these 3 there, and they go the big one there at the bottom. When refitting them, you can just give them a bit of a lube with some fresh engine oil. Make sure that's seated correctly all the way around, nice and even. And the other 2 are here at the end of this stem. One slightly larger than the other, so make sure you get them the right way around. And then the smaller one in the end, last. When that's done, you've just got the filter. Doesn't matter which way around that goes back over. Make sure that's seated correctly as well, and that's ready to fit back into the oil filter hole. So now we're going to slide it back in the same way it came out. Start the thread off by hand so you can make sure it's in properly. And use your ratchet to tighten it up. You'll notice on the top of the lid it's got a torque setting on it. In this case it's 25 Newton meters. So when it starts to get tight, just do the last bit with the torque wrench to the correct setting. So it's just nipped up there. Then we're going to use the torque wrench. 25 Newton meters, or that translates to about 18 pound-feet. So just do the last bit. Yep. And now I can fill it up with oil. Now it's ready to fill up. Make sure you check the user manual for the quantity and the specification of oil to get the correct one. In this case, it's 5.5 litres. So we're going to stick a full 5 litres in, check it, and then top up from there. Remember, you can always put more in. It's a lot more difficult to take it out, so just put it in a bit less than what's required and check it. Right, so we've got all 5 litres in there. We're just going to let that settle for a minute, and then using the dipstick there, we're just going to check where we are with it and top up if we need to. So a few minutes have passed, check the dipstick. It's saying there we're just over halfway there on the dipstick. So it's safe to start up. So we're going to run it for a few minutes, let it settle, a couple of minutes with the engine off, and then we're going to check it again and top up if necessary. So now the engine's run for a bit, we've left it a couple of minutes after turning it off, and we'll check this again. We're expecting the oil level to drop a bit from when you initially fill it up after you've run it, because it's got to fill up the oil filter housing. So that. As you can see there, it's about a third full, so it needs topping up. Generally speaking, the difference on most cars between empty and full on the dipstick is about 1 litre, so you can judge from that how much you need to put in. So in this case, about half a litre or just over, and then we'll run it again, recheck it, and then we're good to go. Last thing to do, we refitted the under tray before, or you can do that now if you've left it to last. Refit the engine cover, fitting just goes back in. And then if you need to reset the oil service light on the dashboard, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner and in the description that shows you how to do that.